God, we're in week 6.
Yeah, week 6. It's kind of ridiculous how fast
Like
it's
a
going.
third of the way through the season.
Yeah, I guess it is the third of the way.
Yeah.
Um,
Little less than halfway through the regular fantasy season.
yeah, it's kind
Hard
of
to believe.
it's wild, right? Because then we have actually just we're really close to halfway.
Yeah, we need
We're
one more
literally
week and then
one
we're
more
halfway.
week and we're halfway through the regular season.
It's absurd. It's not fair.
But if you're at the bottom of the standings, anything can happen, really. So it's not like this the end of the season yet for everyone.
Yeah.
But on that note, welcome to PnC Dynasty episode 16. I don't know, YouTube says episode 14. I think we're on 16 or 17.
They're wrong.
We're somewhere.
You're right.
We're somewhere there, and we're on here with week 6, and it's going way too fast, and I don't like it.
I hate it, and I especially hate it because my team decides to suck. But I also did this to myself. So. But if you're winning like you are, like we'll get into, then it must be fantastic.
It's not bad. It's
not bad.
It's still one of those things where I'm not like, obviously I'm in first, and it's the first time I've ever been in first in this league. In the dynasty aspect of it, obviously when we did redraft, I was third, second, whatever. But yeah, for dynasty, it's nice to have the first place. Obviously, I think I could easily lose it and lose that positioning right away. But I feel like I'm not even like, I feel like my team's good, right? Obviously, I won I lost week 1 and then won 4 straight. But I don't know. It doesn't feel like I'm in first, if that makes sense.
Do we have the standings on the website anywhere?
No. I think that's something I requested for them to add, which I don't know if he will or if he has done it, if he's working on it.
There's a little bit of a cheat code here. If you go to the playoff, if you go to the matchups and the playoffs, it'll give you an idea of what the playoffs are. So, but yeah. But yeah, I know I'm ruining the vibe of this podcast already. So
No.
let's get straight into it.
It's gonna be It's gonna be a close. I feel like it's gonna be a really close, like, playoff push for a lot of teams.
I mean, specifically at the bottom, I think so. Yeah. I
like 12 through 5 right now.
Yeah.
Are literally almost 2 weeks. Like, they're 2 weeks behind each other. That's really it. 2 weeks.
I mean, that is a lot, to be fair, but
It is, but it's also,
I mean, like, Ryan is the 6th place team, and I think we both agree he's better than that.
he could be. I mean, if he loses this week.
So, I mean, before we get into the matchups,
Yeah.
you're in first, Haj is second,
Yeah,
Derek third, Badger fourth, Andy fifth, Ryan sixth.
Here, I could do this.
I think that's like kind of what we thought could be the top 6. Like, not in that order, but I do think a lot of us thought that it was either Badger or Chris for that 6th spot.
Badger or Chris for the 6th. Yeah, that's the thing where I agree. Like, I thought Chris would be much higher, obviously sitting at 3 and 7, which is kind of crazy here.
He's got like the second least points scored, if I recall correctly.
He does have the second least points. Leo has and then you just look at everything, and the way I see it too is I think Ryan is once again getting bent over with points against, and that's what happened to him like 2 years ago. And he's just getting. He almost has 800 points scored against him, which is kind of ridiculous if you think about it, through 5 weeks.
Well, thank God for the points for median. If you're Ryan.
Yeah, if you're Ryan, he's loving it. I mean, most of his wins are points for medians, so.
Right.
But yeah, Badger is definitely the surprise, kind of the surprise where he is. I think he was going to be I thought he would be like a 7-8er, but now, top 4,
He's really good, but he's not good in the way we thought.
I agree.
Like Allen was really quiet the first couple of weeks and is like only recently started to pick it up. I think he's actually Vegas's favorite to win the MVP now, if I read that correctly.
Wow.
Yeah, I think he's usurped Kyler.
Okay.
I do need to confirm that, but
There's a lot of yeah. There's a lot of them.
yeah, I mean like AJ Brown has sucked. Josh
Yeah,
Jacobs, I mean he
terrible.
just traded for him, but
Mm-hmm.
Devontae Parker hasn't done much at all. And
DJ Moore
like
is really his true star,
DJ
and I gave it to
DJ
him.
Moore was the stud, yeah, and Leonard Fournette,
And now Mark Andrews.
and now Mark Andrews. So it's like impressive what he's done, and it's not in at all in the way that we thought. We thought that it would have to be AJ Brown being this top 5 dynasty wide receiver, which he still might be,
Yeah.
and then Saquon being Saquon relatively early on. And you started to see that week 4, and you're just like, that's your come to Jesus moment. Thank God it's happening. And then this happens with the rolled ankle.
Yep.
So the fact he's doing this is impressive.
I agree, and I think losing Barkley after having those extra push from those points, because I mean without Barkley, who knows if he does win those games because they were close.
Yeah.
And now he's without Barkley again. AJ Brown's really not doing much. Maybe we'll pick it up. Who knows really how that is.
I think he will.
I really hope he does. I mean, not for just his for Badger's sake. I don't want Badger to do well at all. I want Badger to actually be terrible, because I have his first round pick. But I mean his team's sitting pretty well right now, and I think another person who I was kind of surprised with is how Parker's doing. He does have what 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He has the 6th, so yeah, he's like just under the median of most points for, like, if you're counting that way, total points for. So I don't know. His team is kind of picking it up. I am truly convinced if Parker had a semi-median caliber quarterback, like a top 12 quarterback, he literally would be in playoffs right now, probably 5th.
Aaron Rodgers. Yeah.
But I don't know. He refuses to do something. But
I mean, imagine Aaron Rodgers on that roster.
yeah.
It's hard to say that's not a playoff caliber team. I mean, again, like Parker's team is good, but it's not the way that you thought it could be good, if that makes sense. Like Najee getting 10 targets a game because Ben Roethlisberger is just not good. Like you wouldn't have thought that. You would think that, he's getting goal line touchdowns. He's getting 3 to 4 receptions a game. And then like Chenault, like you would think would be a PPR guy, but his targets outside of like the week against Cincinnati have been good, but he's like very good with the touches he gets. So like, yeah, same thing. And then Jamar Chase also, like, he just doesn't need that many targets to be really good, apparently. Okay, so what are the odds that Jamar Chase is like a top wide receiver, top 5 dynasty wide receiver right now? It's got to be high, right?
Top 5 dynasty? Yeah. I wouldn't say he's top 5 dynasty. I could think of 4. I could think of 4 that I would rather over him right now.
Who would you go with dynasty then?
Dynasty over him right now: DK Metcalf, Justin Jefferson, CeeDee Lamb, and that's 3 right there. You then, if you really want to go dynasty, you would say AJ Brown, just because who he is and his value behind him.
I think I might go Jamar Chase there, honestly.
You go Jamar Chase at 4.
I might. Over AJ Brown, I might, yeah.
On a dynasty.
Yeah. I mean, Jamar Chase is one of the best receiving prospects we've seen in a long time.
I mean, DJ Moore is going off, and he's probably just the same age at this point.
He's a little bit older, but I mean, I would say
1 year older. DJ Moore is only 20.
Like two or
I guess he just turned 24. So I guess
yeah.
He's 2.
So I think he's like 3 years older. But I mean, point being that Jamar Chase was bound to play in the XFL in the preseason, and now he's a top 5 dynasty wide receiver. So things can change when you have the profile that Jamar Chase has, apparently.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, that's been surprising. Badger and Parker have definitely been the surprises so far on the good side. Now, my question to you on the bad side, who have been like 2 surprising teams?
You. As much as I kind of been preaching, I don't. I mean, now I expect it to happen, right? Because of all the injuries and how the season went for you. But before the season, I wouldn't be saying that you would be in the second to last place, tied with Leo and just being able to push over to 11th because of your points for. I also think that that's really it. Obviously Chris. But I just don't see Chris doing this. But now when you look at his team's not putting up enough points to beat our median.
And it's not injuries either.
And it's really not injuries. It's just underperformance. And I just think that, like I said over, I don't think I really said it in the podcast, but I do, talking with Haj and everyone around the league, that this year just felt different in terms of how our league was. I knew most of the teams had that solid core where they could put up 130 points on average every week, and we're seeing that. We had over 145 median last week, and it's kind of ridiculous. It's like, holy shit, 145 points, and we're just a normal 1 QB PPR with a tight end premium. And like, obviously, I guess our 1 QB we do 6 points instead of 4 points, but we don't give any bonuses like leagues do. We really don't do anything special and anything out of the ordinary. And we got a median between 12 teams of 145, which I think is extremely high, because that's a difficult number to put up each week for some of these teams that are lower. So I think like the league is set to where it's like, if you're not in the top 8 teams, you're really going to be struggling.
Yeah, I agree. Let me ask you one more set of questions before we go into the matchups. So, which team do you think will rise the most from where they are now in the standings by the time the playoffs come around? Good question. I know.
Fuck.
Got myself on the back for that one.
It is a good question, because you want to think like, you're always like, all right, who have they versed already? Because one of the things is, because the first 3 matchups you play at the end of the year as well, right? So for someone like Haj, who had the worst 3 weeks in a row, like one of the most difficult 3 weeks in a row based on last year's stats and the teams, he has those 3 again. And then I don't remember, I think we played each other, and you play Leo, so you get that extra like boost there. I mean, I could see maybe you.
Really? Do I? Is that a boost?
I guess. Yeah, at this point it is. I think I could see you and Chris moving up maybe like 1 or 2 more spots and not being at the bottom.
Yeah.
But the only way you do that is if someone like Dan and Pete don't perform well. Right? Because if you have to think about it, you need those other teams to perform bad so that you guys can move up. Because if everyone's performing, and if the top teams are kind of doing bad, then it's like, then it breaks you. It almost breaks even to where you stay stagnant if the teams at like 6 and up are the ones losing.
Yeah.
So, I mean, at this point, it really all comes down to who gets lucky in their matchups. Because I see, like, this week, like, you have a tough matchup. Obviously, you're playing Haj, so you're playing second place and you're second to last place. So it's already a difficult matchup. You then go in and you play Badger next week, but bye weeks. So next week is a huge bye week for a lot of teams. And I'm pretty sure you get lucky because Badger doesn't have a quarterback. So, this is where you get that edge on not becoming last place, right? So if you can beat Badger without Josh Allen, which I think most people can because Josh Allen puts up 40 points for Badger's team, then you get that edge, and then you hope someone else doesn't. So, I mean, what's your take? Because that question is just too much. It's tough.
Yeah. So I think the biggest potential riser, I mean, look, you know that I'm not biased towards myself. I've continually said I don't think my team is a playoff team.
Mm-hmm.
I do think we can finish near the 7 or 8 spot in the playoffs, in the regular season. Yeah. That may not be a good thing because I do have my own pick. So
at this point, yeah,
the pessimistic side of me says just stay in 11th. Don't come in last, but come in 11th.
Or do what I did, come in third to last.
Yeah. Do everything right and still come in third to last.
Mm-hmm.
So I do think that we have the potential to go a little bit higher. And then I think Andy is a lot better than 5th place, but he also loves to start players that are out. So maybe
Facts.
not.
That's 2 weeks in a row that he's done something.
Yeah.
Well, he's done something bad in terms of his team.
Yeah. I mean, and I gave him the get out of jail free card. He traded for Madison, and he wasn't even happy about it.
You literally gave him to Madison. Madison scores 25 points or more. I think he went off, and
yeah, I mean, he was so worried about I don't know if Madison's as good as Pollard. Get out of here. You're not trading Pollard. Pollard doesn't have anywhere near as much value to Andy as Madison does because you have that direct handcuff. If you don't have Ezekiel Elliott, Tony Pollard's value to you is much more limited. Mm. So I didn't understand why he was so against it. And he had the get out of jail free card and he missed it.
He left Cook. He literally stayed. He left Cook. I mean, luckily he was playing Leo where he won. But
he did lose the points for median, though.
He did lose, and that was huge because that dropped him down, put Badger above him. And it did hurt him a lot.
So I do think, having said that, I hope Andy has learned his lesson. So I do think he can climb in the rankings. Now, with that said, I do think Badger is bound to take a step back. Look, I love Josh Allen. I love DJ Moore. I love AJ Brown, but you can't keep relying on Josh Jacobs to score touchdowns. And I don't know about Saquon at this point. I hope he comes back in a short term. But outside of the tight end position and the running back position, the wide receiver group, he's got Moore, he's got Brown, but who is he going to put in at wide receiver if one of those guys gets hurt?
Not really anyone, right?
That's what I'm saying. So, he's got the depth at quarterback and not quarterback, at tight end and running back, but anything happens to Josh Allen or the wide receivers, and you're looking at a very rough situation there. So I do think, and it's not because I don't think Badger's bad. I think there's just enough good teams behind him, like Parker and Andy.
Good teams,
that could usurp him, And then I think the other team, look, he had a great week, but Dan's team still is not good. Let's not. No.
I mean, back-to-back. Listen. Back-to-back. Oh no, sorry, not back-to-back. All right. Week 3, he put up 150, right? And I thought that was his peak. And we talked about this on the podcast, and we're like, this is probably 98, 95% of what his ceiling is. And then he comes in week 6 and he puts up, or week 5, and he puts up the most points we've ever seen in this Dynasty League. The most points we've ever seen in this Dynasty League. I'm going to show everyone. And it's ridiculous because at first I thought I had the most points in the league back-to-back weeks in a row. And then you come in, Hollywood Brown catches an insane touchdown or multiple touchdowns and extra points and 2-point conversions and this and that. And he puts up 203 points. Now, obviously, this is not going to happen every single week, right? But who's to say that he can't put up an average of 130 or 140 a week now? Because you have Herbert, who absolutely teared the Browns apart, not getting 50 points ever again. Probably will get 25, 30, which is normal. But Kareem Hunt has been doing well, so you can almost expect 20 points from Kareem Hunt now, almost. Closer to 20 than it is to 15, in my opinion. And then the injury to Montgomery really helps him here because Williams he looked good. So if his players do what they can do, as we can see from last week, he should be able to put up like 130, 140, which is enough to beat almost half the league.
Yeah.
They're inconsistent.
The issue, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
They're
the issue is that you had like 3 players reach their ceiling, arguably 4 if Damian Williams is, splitting with Khalil Herbert. I mean, he's getting the more valuable touches, the receptions, but like, you're right. I don't see Justin Herbert hitting 50 points.
No.
David Montgomery is going to come back at some point. Chris Godwin.
Oh yeah.
You kind of expect that. Antonio Godwin is like
Antonio Brown.
Like the 2 touchdowns.
I mean, you can expect Antonio Brown to do 20s.
You can expect Antonio Brown to score at least 12 points a week. I think that's solidified at this point.
I mean,
ceiling of what, 25? I mean, the ceiling obviously 31, but realistically, like,
I think he's 20s.
When Gronkowski comes back, yeah.
If he comes back, Gronkowski could easily just try not to come back.
I think he'll come back after this week. They got the the quote unquote extended bye, whatever it's called. Schultz, I do not see that happening. That was a weird game script where the
Schultz
Giants
has been having pretty great games.
No doubt about it. But Amari Cooper's target share hasn't been where it usually is, and I don't see that continuing on. And Blake Jarwin, I think, is still a better tight end than Dalton Schultz. And Marquise Brown, I mean, look, he can do this once in a while, but that's the thing. He does it once in a while. He'll get a couple of amazing games, and then he has a couple of like very lackluster games. So
yeah, but that's most people. I could see Hollywood staying around 20.
I don't even think he's the best receiver on that team. I think Rashad Bateman is.
I mean, Rashad Bateman's not even. You can't even really.
He's come back this week, though.
Yeah, but and we'll see how it fits. But we can't even see.
Yeah, I mean, Marquise Brown plays. He's the Tyreek Hill of the Baltimore Ravens. He's the Z receiver.
Yeah.
Who spreads the field?
He's fast.
Right. He's extremely fast.
He just needs to catch the ball.
Right. But, the thing about Tyreek Hill that is always kind of the issue, and the reason why I would take Devontae Adams over him in almost any format is those Z receivers don't command the primary target share. If you look, Travis Kelce is the guy that leads in target share in Kansas City. He serves as the alpha. And so you have the situation where Tyreek Hill can score 5 points or he can score 45 points, So the same thing kind of applies to Marquise Brown. And I like Bateman more because he does profile as an alpha. So, I think, again, like you had so many guys reach their ultimate ceiling and they did it with injuries benefiting him. So, look, do I still think he's the worst team?
I don't think so.
No, I don't think he's the worst team anymore. We were also saying that he was the worst team 2 weeks ago, so we know this thing can change quickly.
Of course. I don't know. I think with how your team is, and like if the standings were the same, I think he'd start to last. I don't think he's better than Chris's team, even though standings show that.
Chris's team is
not doing what it's supposed to do. Yes.
Like Diggs is like, you're not worried about Diggs and you're not worried about Allen.
No, you're kind of slightly worried about Nick Chubb with how Kareem Hunt has been taking into his things. You're not worried about
the fact that he doesn't receive he's just not involved, so you have to get touchdowns from Nick Chubb for it to be worth it. Mm-hmm. Chris Carson, I mean, I think he's
back.
Done.
Yeah, we'll see.
Like
I've never liked him in the first place. Even never liked him as a player.
Same.
But yeah. So I don't know.
Jalen Waddle has been a disaster from a fantasy and real life. Imagine trading up and giving up a first round pick next year for Jalen field stretching Waddle. What a horrendous draft pick that's going to be. I mean,
he didn't trade up.
He traded down. He had the second overall.
Pick, and he traded back.
He traded back. great idea, if you can
Okay.
get all those picks, but Jalen Waddle ain't it.
Yeah,
Bottom line.
I think he chose. Yeah, I think he chose wrong. Could have taken like Devonta Smith, who would have been a little better.
Yeah, Devontae Smith. Even Devontae Smith isn't an alpha wide receiver, but he's at least 6'2", whereas Jalen Waddle is short and small.
Yeah.
And is primarily going to play in the slot, and at best is a Z receiver who runs real fast. In a dynasty league, are you taking Jalen Waddle or Marquise Brown? I mean, they're basically the same athletic profile.
After seeing how he improved, I'm taking Hollywood Brown.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not even close to me.
Yeah, I'm taking Hollywood Brown. I mean, he gets open. He knows how to do it. He's on a better offense. Yeah.
And would you take Devontae Smith or Marquise Brown? A lot closer, huh?
Yeah, definitely closer. Devonta Smith probably.
Yeah,
I think he has more upside with the more targets he has. He controls that offense.
Yeah, it's him, Goddard, and Quez
And
Watkins
I hope
now.
Andy's not listening because trying to trade for Devonta Smith.
Yeah. What do you need him for? Anyway.
Have you seen my wide receivers? But yes, anyway, going into our matchups this week for week 6, a ton of very important matchups for a lot of people here. Once again, like it always is, every matchup, every week is important. Breaking off myself, I played Derek, who is also on the podcast, not here tonight. But this is another insane matchup. Key factor is I do not have Alvin Kamara, and he does not have Kyle Pitts or Matt Ryan. However, I think Alvin Kamara definitely is a bigger hit to me than Kyle Pitts and Matt Ryan is to his team. Not an excuse here, but just stating the fact that what I believe, who has more upside and more potential. Outside of that, I think once again this is going to be either a very close matchup or a blowout. I think every matchup that I'm going to be in is either going to be a close matchup or a blowout. That's just, I think, the nature of my team and how it is. It's either going to be an absolute bend over fest, or they're going to absolutely bend me over and not put up points. I think two key factors are my wide receivers here. Well, Hunter Renfrow and St. Brown. I might be switching those to maybe a tight end. Still deciding. I don't know if I'm going to start Julio. Don't know how that's going to be. But what I like about this matchup is we both have someone playing Thursday, and we both have people playing Monday. So we have every single time frame, because I have a guy, James Robinson, at 9:30 in London. So we have people Thursday. I got someone at 9:30. We got people at 1. We have people at 4. We got people at 8:20, and we have Monday night. So this game is going to come down to Knox and Bills defense up against Derrick Henry and Bass, which Derrick Henry can take me to the promised land.
Yeah.
Because I will be rooting against Bills Mafia this week. After rooting for them last week, I have to now take it back and I have to root against them. I'm sorry, Derek, but Bills Mafia might have to take an L. Actually, no, they can take the win. They're just going to have to
make it like 45-42.
Yeah, where Derrick Henry scores everything. The Bills defense
3 touchdowns. Bills defense
negative 10
Austin
points.
Knox doesn't. It's all Emmanuel Sanders and
and Stephon Diggs.
Stephon Diggs.
I don't even care.
Yeah,
sick. It would be sick.
I mean, what would Derek think there? At that point, I think he would just trade off the.
No, he's gonna be happy either way. He's he can have a double win where Bills win and he wins, or he can have the Bills win and he loses here. Yeah. But I mean, obviously I have to pick myself in the matchup because why bet against yourself? But I think it's going to be very close or a complete shit show, and it's going to be 180 to 120.
You're gonna win because his running backs and quarterbacks are subpar. Bottom line. Yeah. What have we seen from Miles Sanders to instill any confidence that he's good for more than 12 points at most? And Chase Edmonds, I love Chase Edmonds. I do not understand why the Cardinals refuse to let him play near the goal line. James Conner he is this year's Todd Gurley. I don't know what more needs to be said. The guy is a trotter. He's slow. He's not good anymore. He doesn't evade tackles like he used to at all. So I just wish they would use him at the goal line, but they don't. I would give the edge to Derek on the wide receiver front, maybe the tight end front as well. But, at the end of the day, like, there's a lot of talent on both these teams, but Baker Mayfield has a very low floor. And I don't know how this game is going to work out for him. It does have shootout vibes to it, which gives you some hope, but they're projecting 21 points for him. I don't know.
Oh, I think he throws at least 2 picks.
Yeah, I mean, Arizona's been better in the secondary than we thought they'd be, so that is something to keep in mind. Sleeper has Derek winning by almost 20 points. And
he did just change. He made me refresh it. He took out the Bills and put the Colts D, which is obviously the smarter decision.
I still don't think he's going to win. I mean, Hunter Renfrow is a thing.
He is. I mean, he has put up over 10 to 12 points every single week. So I'm like, I think I have a guaranteed 10 points in Hunter Renfrow, especially against Denver. So I was like, I have to start him. And then St. Brown against Cincy, I was like, I feel like the Detroit Lions might get their first win this week. So that's what I have.
How many times are we going to say that, Vinny?
I haven't said it that many times.
I've said it a lot.
I don't think I've ever said it that many times. I don't believe in them winning a lot of games this year, but I feel like Cincy's a team that just like will blow it because,
Detroit is like this year's Chargers from last year, right? Like, Chargers finished with a losing record, but they could have easily been like 11-5.
Yeah, Chargers didn't really have a lot of wins.
The Lions could be 3-2 right now with 3 different plays.
I think they've
played good.
They should have beaten the Vikings, right?
Absolutely.
Last week they should have beat the Vikings. They should have beaten Baltimore Ravens, but the refs didn't, flag them for, the play clock.
The 49ers game, they were driving down the field for that last drive. I mean, it was close, dude. So
the Detroit is a great winless team.
Yes.
And they deserve to win, and I feel like they could do it. They are in Cincinnati, which kind of sucks. But,
Look, slow-paced offenses, usually not good, but something that's going to work in St. Brown's favor, I think, is that Hawkinson. Everyone's so worried about Hawkinson. Yeah. Oh, my God.
His knee.
But what they don't realize is that you watch that game, and they have Hawkinson blocking because their offensive line is not fully healthy. And he's such a good blocking tight end that they need him there. So it's not that he's not getting open. He's just not going on routes. And so St. Brown's route participation has been going up. And now with Cephas also out, I mean, I do like St. Brown in this spot. Absolutely. So Renfrow and St. Brown, I think will get like 7 receptions a pop. If you get 50 yards from that, you're happy. And I think that's enough to beat Derek, especially with his running backs and quarterback.
What I would love to close this up is for Hunter Renfrow to score, have his best game of the season right now. And put up like 20 points, 25 points, because Derek traded him to me, and that'd be cool. Okay. on to the next matchup here. We have Smith. We got you playing Haj. A insane matchup here because you're playing second place, like I said before, and you're second to last. You are filled with injuries. You got question marks on probably 95% of your guys, besides the defense, and probably Aaron Rodgers.
I still don't have a kicker.
You don't have a kicker. There's a lot going on, and there's a lot you have to go up against. So I don't know. How you feeling here? Because I'm not feeling good for you.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, right. I mean, I can. Yeah.
Look, there's absolutely a case.
Injuries.
I mean, look. I thought we played good last week. Like usually 142 points. That's a lock for a .4 win. I truth be told, I don't give a damn how the other team plays. I really care about how my team plays because I cannot control what the other team does. So
of course not.
Like just from my team's standpoint, Sutton is like the clear number one. Judy comes back, I don't care. It's still going to be the Cortland Sutton show. He is the best wide receiver there. Proven that time and time again. T. Higgins, I still think it's going to be like a 1A, 1B situation. I mean, both Chase and Higgins are so good that they're both going to get their work. Hawkinson, I really hope this is the week they stop making him block and go out for routes. I don't know if that's going to be the case.
It all depends on his knee. Ooh, excuse me. I think it all depends on his knee. He didn't practice today.
He also didn't practice Wednesday and Thursday of last week and then practice on Friday. So, I mean, we're kind of noticing a trend there. Mooney, I think, is the X factor. Surprisingly for me here, so I'm still choosing between him and Elijah Mitchell,
Okay.
and to a much lesser extent Tony Pollard, but Mooney, when he gets the ball in his hand, he does special things, and he's a huge deep threat. He's bigger than most speedsters. He's 6 foot, a little skinny, but kind of in the Devontae Smith mold, where he's above 6 foot, but he's really skinny. Very fast, extremely good route runner, amazing hands.
Yeah.
I've heard some people say that he's better than Allen Robinson, which get out of here with that. But I mean, he's really good. He is really good, and he fits Justin Fields' skill set so well. Yeah. But Justin Fields also has been, like all the rookie quarterbacks, kind of disappointing. And I want to see him throw the ball downfield a little bit more. And against Green Bay, I don't know if that happens.
I don't see it happening.
So, and then Elijah Mitchell, coming back from a shoulder injury. He's actually in a bye week this week, so never mind. But I have been encouraged by what I've seen from Mitchell in terms of usage. So, look, I do think I've got a chance. I don't think Tony comes close to replicating what he did in Dallas. I just don't, especially with Mike Glennon as quarterback. Like, I'm sorry, it's not happening. He might get the target share, but I don't see that happening. Ertz, no, I don't see that happening. And Darrell Williams,
Goddard's out.
Like, Goddard's out, but
fuck.
He's so touchdown dependent. That's his thing.
I don't know. Tampa Bay is really not that strong against tight ends, are they?
I don't know off the top of my head, honestly.
Okay. I think he has good upside, though.
Sure. I mean, it's touchdown dependent, 1,000,000%. Hawkinson, if he goes out on routes and is participating, he's not touchdown dependent. He gets the targets. He gets the yards. Ertz, you need a touchdown for that to work. Darrell Williams seems like a trap to me. I just get the sense they're going to spread that workload around because Darrell Williams is just not... He's not very good. Like, I hate to break it. He's slow.
I would be starting Tyler Boyd easily.
I would start Tyler Boyd if I was.
But I also would probably start Tyler Boyd over Cardarius.
No, I don't know if I would do that.
The Rams defense, come on.
I gotta be honest with you, man. Like,
I think we're getting
the Rams are the Rams are playing a lot more zone defense than you'd think. So it's not like Tony's gonna be covered by Ramsey the entire game.
But I mean, Galladay's out, so who else are they gonna get?
Well, they've got Ingram back. There's a chance Slayton and
Sterling Shepard
come back.
But you got to
So
back up
if they come
quarterback
back
against the Rams defense.
Yeah, and Mike Lennon sucks.
Yes.
But like we always talk about this, backup quarterbacks, they tend to target the number one receiver in an offense a lot more.
That's why DK Metcalf, baby.
Right. So exactly. It's called the Tom Savage corollary.
Yeah, you bring it up. Yep, you bring it up every week.
So it's a Tom Savage corollary taking place here in New York. You feed the ball to Kadarius Toney, and good things will happen. So
as long as he doesn't throw a punch again and get kicked.
Yeah, no, I don't think he will. But I do think Haj wins this. I do think it's going to be, if Mixon can show he's a full participant by Friday, I think he's a full go. Samaje Perine's out. I think there's enough positive trends there. I do think this will be a lot closer. And I don't think Lockett is going to do particularly well. So what's up?
158.64 to 147.
Okay. I'll take that.
23.
I'll take that. I'm assuming I'm the 147.
I'm not calling who it is. I'm just saying the score here. But you do need a kicker though.
I do need
a kicker.
Kickers are born in this league for
that is a thing I need to do.
As they are in this league, they do give you at least 8 points, 6 points.
Yeah,
kicking points.
I don't want to drop Koo because he's just really good, but I think I might have to here. But yeah, look, if I get 147, that should be good enough for a points for wins.
So you would think so.
That. I mean, we also had an absurd amount of 40 plus point scorers last week. Not sustainable. Yeah. But I do pick Haj.
Nice.
Next matchup.
Next matchup, we have Andy versus Dan. Andy is just getting I guess it's not lucky. It's just how the matchups came out. But back-to-back weeks of just simple shit. Although that was... is never playing Leo again, never playing Dan again, which is good. Get it out now. But he's playing Dan, and he did say himself that he is nervous. So if one of his players, like Dalvin Cook or Mike Williams, gets hurt 3 days before, the actual game, even though Andy claims that it was an hour before, then he may lose. But if he does start a lineup that has players playing, he's going to absolutely bend Dan over. Possibly 50-piece him.
Yeah.
The matchups are pretty good. Cooper, Kupp, Higbee, they're probably going to destroy the Giants' defense. Even though the Giants' defense is good, it's just their offense sucks, so the Rams are always going to have the ball.
Yeah, I don't like that game for fantasy, honestly.
Yeah, it's going to be a weird game. Dalvin Cook will probably shred Carolina. Maybe Carolina's defense has actually been really solid, so we'll see that. But I think Tom Brady's gonna rip apart Philly. I think that game is an over for me. That's like a 33 to 28 game or 21. I could see Jalen Hurts putting up a lot of points because Tampa Bay's defense has struggled a little bit this year with injuries and stuff. But Tom Brady is just gonna throw the firepower. So he does have the counteract of the wide receivers there, kind of.
Yeah.
Not too crazy, but
I just think Andy's better at every spot on the line.
He really is. I don't think there's one weak thing. Actually, there is a weak thing. It's his kicker because I'm pretty sure Blankenship has a hip injury right now. So
he does.
So that's where he's worse. That's really where he's worse. Is that one spot.
Yeah.
And I think quarterbacks are similar, but due to the matchups they have right now, picking Tom Brady.
I would, yeah. I think they'll both do well, but there is a possibility that
they're both getting like 20.
Chargers game gets more shootout caliber.
I agree. Yeah, that's true. I think it'll be like 30 points each.
Yeah, I actually might get the slight edge to Herbert here, but it's tough to go against the GOAT. It is a shame, by the way, that Dak Prescott is just rotting away on a bench. He should be starting for somebody.
Yeah, but
anyway,
no one's gonna pay for that.
Yeah, the running backs clear advantage for Andy. Wide receivers, less clear, but I do think an advantage for Andy as well. Tight end, both these guys are just gross. You want touchdowns for both of them, otherwise you're getting nothing.
Which I think Schultz is gonna do better than Higbee.
Yeah, that's a possibility. Flexes, I don't think it's close. I think Andy's a clear winner there. Kicker, look, Blankenship is still day to day with a hip injury, so possibility he comes back and plays. If he does, in Houston indoors, you take that matchup all day. The Chiefs defense absolutely sucks this year.
Yeah, that's a bad start, but I think that's his only start.
Yeah. Against Washington, Taylor Heineke is like
good.
The Chiefs do awful against mobile quarterbacks, and Taylor Heineke is mobile. So I don't like that matchup at all. And then you got the Packers going up against 1.5-legged Justin Fields. So yeah, that's it. I think it's a lot clearer.
It's a clear end.
Like I'm not letting Week 5 affect my decision here. It's Andy.
It's Andy, of course.
Let's not overthink this.
No.
Come on.
Moving on to the next one, another most likely clear decision here. Obviously, clear decision. We have Ryan over Leo in this matchup. Leo was trolling us before. He had everyone taken out of his lineup. He had Trevor Lawrence starting over Kyler Murray and everything.
He might have had more points before the troll.
No, he did. Oh, yeah, maybe. But this matchup, once again, is just like a clear lopsided. This is going to Ryan, and Ryan needs this win badly after I absolutely annihilated him last week. It seems like every team that I annihilate, they have an easy matchup the following week because I absolutely bent over Andy, and then he goes to Leo. Now I bend over Ryan, and he goes to Leo. Oh wow, they all just go to Leo. They all just go.
We're noticing a trend here.
I bend them over, and then they are like, okay, I need to go bend someone over, and they choose Leo. And Leo is going to be that person that gets bent over every week. So, I don't see really one tough matchup on the left side for Ryan at all, besides maybe Brandon Cooks here against Indy. And on the right side, I think he has a tough matchup with James Conner. And Gainwell, which hate the Gainwell play. But everyone else has a decent matchup here because I think Kyler Murray's going to do what he does. Hines playing against Houston, I think actually puts up points just because he's playing Houston. So I think they're going to do a lot there with like the Hines and Jonathan Taylor.
I actually think this is the Marlon Mack show in Houston. I'll tell you why.
Because they're trying to trade him.
They're trying to trade him, exactly. So yeah, this is
but didn't they do that? Didn't they do that already? They gave him his chance. They really did give him his chance. I think. Like 2 weeks ago.
mean they were still trying to win that game though. It wasn't like
they're gonna They need this win, and it's the Houston Texans.
Right, and like Davis Mills is a great actor, but he's really not that good of a quarterback.
And Colts defense is filthy.
Yeah, exactly. And Carson Wentz, like I've said it, he's washed, but that's okay against Houston. And he's getting T.Y. Hilton back, which will help everyone in that offense. So I do think it's going to be a blowout, and I do think that's going to give Marlon Mack more touches than Nyheim Hines. So
interesting.
Yeah, I mean, but at the same time, like we keep saying it, Ryan's running backs are going to come back to bite him.
And his ass, of course. I mean, Gaskin goes off last week, and now he's starting him because he went off, and then he's going to chase that. It's like almost like losing.
He's going to chase the touchdowns.
Yeah,
exactly.
you're chasing a lost bet. Like you lost it. I need to get it back. Now it's like, oh,
Right.
wow, he put 38 on my bench, and I need to get it back. And then, I mean, yeah, he has a favorable matchup against Jacksonville, so he actually might get something back, but I don't think he gets the whole piece. I think he's just getting a little sliver of, like, maybe 15 points. Melvin Gordon, who knows at this point? So, like, you really don't know with the running backs in that situation. I mean, I think that game's going to be all in the air. It has to be all in the air. I mean, the Raiders are all in the air. They got rid of their coach, so now they got a new coach who can actually maybe, they like. So
John Gruden was actually, I thought, was a pretty good play caller offensively. So I don't know, like that's gonna be like one of the top things to watch is like how much does that offense change?
Yeah.
You finally feed the alpha Bryan Edwards.
Alpha
or not?
Sure. Yeah, Hunter Renfrow. But yeah, once again, clear matchup. We could skip.
No.
We can kind of breeze through this.
Sure.
Next one is Danos versus Chris versus Parker. Now, let me see. Okay, Chris is not here because he did want to join, but I don't know where he's at. He's probably still grocery shopping. So this matchup is once again another important matchup for Chris. I said it last week that it was an important matchup for Chris, and I don't know. I'm pretty sure he lost. Oh, no, he came back and won. He came back and won because of Lamar Jackson last week, which was an important matchup against Pete. Huge matchup. This, again, another huge matchup. Just because, if I pull up the standings, he's one game behind Parker.
Yeah.
And this could be the game that he moves up a little bit. Do I think it's the game? I don't know. I really don't know how to break this down. I mean, Lamar Jackson against the Chargers, that could be a high-scoring game, like you said. Probably going to be a shootout. Nick Chubb against Arizona, I kind of don't like that at all.
I don't either.
Chris Carson against Pittsburgh, I hate it.
Nope.
Diggs and
Best defense in
Allen.
the sport.
I love Diggs. I love Allen this week. I think Diggs is going to have a fun time against Tennessee Titans, and I think Allen will probably have a fun time against Baltimore. I think Evan Ingram is another trash can. I think Booker, trash can. Jalen Waddle probably has a decent game against.
He's starting Booker.
I think Jalen Waddle will have a decent game against Jacksonville. That being said, you go to Parker and you have Carson Wentz. Should actually put up decent numbers this week, maybe 18 points, because Jonathan Taylor might rush in the touchdowns. So he's kind of covering both his asses there with getting those touchdowns. So
Trade for Aaron Rodgers, Parker.
So if you are, he probably should, or just give like 2 first-round picks, or no, like a first-round pick and a player for Dak Prescott and take the league away. But like you said, if this game is a blowout, Jonathan Taylor and Carson Wentz could be the ones to succeed in that. Najee Harris against Seattle, probably absolutely torching them, because that game is going to be a very bad game. It's going to be a weird game. I should rephrase it. That game is going to be a weird game.
Yeah, it's the fake shootout of the week.
It's going to be a weird game.
Geno Smith did look pretty good, though.
He did, because he's a vet.
Yeah, and he's not a Jet anymore.
Facts. Shenault, Deontay Johnson, probably going to do very well, both of them. Tight end.
Shenault is not getting enough touches, though, in my opinion.
No, but isn't now Juju is fully out, or Juju was fully out last week too? How was that? I don't remember.
I think he got hurt in like the first quarter, and it was actually Chase Claypool who got the bigger target share when Juju was out.
Yes.
So that is something to monitor, but Deontay should be fine here regardless.
Yeah, I mean.
But tight ends, you were saying?
They're shit.
Yeah, they're both awful. Yeah,
I just think Parker does have the upper hand because of Jamar Chase and Najee Harris on his team. And
Jonathan
Taylor, of course. But I mean,
Parker seems to, outside of Clyde Edwards-Helaire, do a pretty good job with these draft picks.
But he turned Clyde into Jonathan Taylor.
God bless him. God bless him. That was one of the best moves of the offseason. We gotta hand it to him.
was good. So I don't know. I might have to choose.
I don't really think
I might
it's
have
a
to
close
choose Parker.
matchup.
You're leaning Parker all the way.
Yeah, I don't think it's close. I mean, I think Waddle and Booker and Ingram.
The only reason why I think it comes close is because Keenan Allen, Diggs, and Lamar Jackson could put up like 112 points each, like together.
Best case scenario.
Yeah.
And I like to trend towards the 60th percentile projection. Like, what's like a little bit above average projection for each of these guys. And for me, like, when I think of it that way, it's like very, very clearly Parker winning. Because I said it before, I don't like Waddle. I have not been impressed with what I've seen. Even with Tua, who is better than Jacoby Brissett, even though I've heard people say that Brissett's better, that is not true. Booker is, like, going up against the Rams. Like, they're susceptible in the passing game, but they're really not at all in the running game. Like, I just want nothing to do with that.
And the Giants line is so
oh my god,
bad.
The Giants O-line is wow.
Team total under for Giants is under 14 easily. I don't think they score 14 points. I don't think the Giants score 14. The only way they're scoring 14 points is garbage time. That is it.
In a weird way, I think Mike Lennon might be better for Booker, but
for dumps, yeah.
Yeah,
just Booker.
I just want there is a non-zero chance Gary Brightwell gets more touches than Devontae Booker. I'm just gonna say it.
Oh no, that's not gonna happen. Booker will run that. Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I thought Gary Brightwell and Ramondre Stevenson were basically doppelgangers in the draft. So, you know, I don't know. Are we so sure that Devontae Booker is going to be the guy there? I just don't. I want nothing to do with that. You know, and Carson and Chubb, like, it's gross.
Yeah.
Gross.
All right. There it is. Parker winning. On to the last matchup, we have Badger, who has been going off against Pete, whose team won last year and has the potential to literally just blow up. Obviously, without Russell Wilson, that's his name, you kind of hurt yourself here. But, however, Kirk Cousins, and having the choice between Kirk Cousins and Darnold is pretty solid, in my opinion. For a fantasy point, obviously. They do put up a lot of points here. He is going with Kirk Cousins to have that stack with Justin Jefferson. I think that's a smart decision. Kind of. I think this needs to be slightly maybe analyzed a little more just because the defenses on both ends are kind of crazy. But I think he's choosing right with Kirk Cousins. But then you have Darnold, who has that rushing ability because he scored so many touchdowns already. However, everything else kind of scares me. I think Henderson can tear the Giants apart, which he could actually do a lot of damage with Henderson. Zach Moss actually could do more damage. Like, he's got players that have good matchups that could pop off, which kind of makes me scared for Badger. I don't know. What's your opinion? I know you hate Pete, but like Pete's team, not Pete.
I don't like this team. I don't know how much more I need to say this, but you're starting Mecole Hardman and Cole Beasley. That tells me everything I need to know.
But in the situation they're in, like, it's like Cole Beasley could have 2 touchdowns.
I love rooting against bad teams. I love rooting against teams whose owners think their team is good. So I'm a little biased here, but I mean, how many points does Sleeper project for Cole? Is that 15 points they're projecting?
Yes.
That's insane. That's preposterous.
I mean, but like the matchup, that's the thing. You have to look at the matchups.
Yeah, but he's
like he actually has
receiver at this point. It's Diggs, it's
Emmanuel
Sanders,
Knox, Moss. Probably.
It might even be Gabriel Davis over Cole Beasley.
Moss had 4 receptions.
Yuck.
I mean, I think Moss definitely beats his projections at 11. I think he easily smashes that 11.
I mean, he's also another touchdown-dependent guy, but Devin Singletary's also just
not good.
Bad.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And Jefferson, Hopkins, Waller, that's the team right there. And I just don't know. Like Hopkins's matchup is a little worrisome to me. But again, it could be a shootout, so we love shootouts. I mean, okay, you got 3 players that could smash. That's great. But I just don't think the rest of this team is all that exciting. Henderson could be.
Yeah.
He's been good. I've actually been encouraged by what I've seen by Henderson. He looks a lot better than what he's looked in the past.
He does.
But going to Badgers team,
don't like the running backs.
Yeah, the running backs.
Besides Fournette, I respect him.
Yeah, I like Fournette.
Especially against Philly, I respect Fournette this week.
I like him a lot.
I respect Mark Andrews against this week. I respect DJ Moore against Minnesota this week.
I do think this is the coming out party for AJ Brown. It's going to happen.
But can Tannehill throw?
Oh yeah, no, I have no question about Tannehill.
He hasn't really been doing a lot this year compared to what he has.
But they also are so far ahead in some of these games where they're just giving Henderson 35 carries. Derrick Henry, yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, the efficiency numbers are still there, and you have to keep in mind that he's missed Brown for. I know it was a week, but it's really been 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And Julio Jones for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
He's been fine. I'm not worried about him. The one player that really worries me is Devontae Parker.
Yes.
I don't know who else he has on the team.
Let me see. Who I would start over him is no one. Maybe Cole Kmet. If you want to take the biggest upside flyer possible, that's it. Because
I think Parker has more upside than Kmet because he's got that big playability.
That's it. Because unless you do Paris Campbell because of the injuries, or maybe the potential because it's against Houston, but no one else. I mean, you're not throwing in Slayton. You're not throwing in.
I would stay away from Campbell because of Hilton coming back potentially, but
actually, low key, Caliph Raymond, low key, like super low key. Like if you have $1,000 on DraftKings, you do him. Because
I can't believe we have dug all the way down to Caliph Raymond.
But I mean, like you said though, because if you think about it, T.J. Hawkinson, if he gets stuck blocking, right? If he gets stuck blocking, Cephas is out. He's the number 2 right now. Is Raymond? Raymond has had 10 and 6 target weeks. He scored 2 touchdowns against Chicago. It's against Cincy. I don't know. Could be just a low key random person. I'm not taking the risk against a team like Pete's and how my team is. You can't take that risk. But
it's just not enough of a shootout.
It's just a hot take.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean I respect that. Your process for coming to that decision I can appreciate. Again, there we go into our process discussion, but yeah, I mean, Badgers' depth in the wide receiver position really isn't there. I mean, look, his running back depth is there. I mean, he's got Javonte and Josh Jacobs, which you're not excited about, but I do think that presents a much higher floor than Moss and Henderson does. I do. I think it does. Ceiling. I think Badger has the advantage there. The floor might go to Pete.
I feel like they're so close. I mean, Henderson just brings up the average floor against those two right away.
Sure.
Henderson I think is good for 15, 18 points against the Giants this week.
It's definitely a possibility, but
I mean, look, again, this matchup is another one that I think is 5 points, like a 5-point difference, 6 points. I don't think it's more than 10-point difference.
Yeah. I mean, if I'm Pete, I'm not starting Mecole Hardman.
Who are you starting?
Who does he have on his bench?
I'll tell you right now. He has he has Jamal Williams, which is maybe could he do that? Yeah,
I would do. I would do that.
He could do
honestly.
Jamal Williams. I think he could do Robbie Anderson.
No,
maybe.
I would still take Hardman there.
Jared Cook.
Ooh.
Could be interesting.
Ooh.
Could
that's
be
sneaky.
Interesting.
Ooh,
really?
I like that.
I kind of like it. I kind of like it.
But I like that.
I kind of like that a little bit. I mean, he is touchdown dependent. So are most tight ends in this league.
Yeah, but you know what? Like Hardman and Anderson are, Hardman had one anomaly of a week.
Yeah, he went off.
Yeah, he had 8 targets. Like he's not going to get that again.
He had 12. He had 12 targets last week.
12. Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen again. Like, come on.
I mean, yeah, that was just.
So I mean, like at that point, when you have low target guys,
yeah,
might as well go for the tight end since you get the extra half point, right?
But do you put in Sterling Shepard if he plays?
Like, what are the odds that who's more likely to score a touchdown, Mecole Hardman or Jared Cook?
Jared Cook. Actually, against Washington. I mean, they both only have 1 touchdown, so I guess you can't hear me.
I can't hear you.
I see my green thing going off.
Hold on.
Huh?
Technical difficulties here. Okay, I think I hear you now. Sorry about that. Nope.
No. Hello.
Oh, there you go. There you go. I hear you now.
Okay. I don't know where you stopped hearing me, but I did say he had Sterling Shepard. If he's questionable, he comes back. It might be something. But the possibility of Hardman over Cook getting a touchdown, they both only had 1 touchdown to the year. So I think, they're both even.
I'd still take the tight end there, man.
I just take the tight end because it's against Baltimore.
Yeah.
It's Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, and then Jared Cook, or I guess technically Austin Eckler, but I think that game just has more scoring opportunity than
100%.
than Washington versus the Chiefs. The Chiefs really haven't been playing well.
Well,
they really
their defense is just it's bottom 5.
And I think they're pushing and forcing things that shouldn't, like on offense. Like, I mean, Mahomes has a lot of interceptions this year.
Well, that's the case to get the running backs more involved. You draft Clyde Edwards-Helaire, who was, probably not the best receiving back in the class, but the second best, and you're not going to utilize him in that role. That's just, that's the thing about Kansas City. Like, they've made some awful drafting decisions in the past couple of years.
Agreed. They need to get better. And it's getting just hidden behind everything that they're doing.
Yeah, like you've got Hill and Kelsey and Mahomes who are smashes, obviously, but Mecole Hardman probably shouldn't have been drafted where he was drafted. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, we've said, is probably the 4th best running back from his draft class, maybe. Dynasty conversation. I wouldn't hesitate taking Taylor, Swift. Who was the other running back?
J.K. Dobbins.
No, I still might take Clyde Edwards there. I heard someone say they might take.
There? Was he in that?
What?
Was he in that draft class?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I mean, A.J. Dillon. The only reason that you would have taken Clyde Edwards-Helaire over A.J. Dillon was because Clyde Edwards-Helaire showed propensity to catch the ball. A.J. Dillon didn't at Boston College, but
now he can.
A.J. Dillon had 5 receptions for 50 yards.
And a touchdown catch, which was
a touchdown.
Insane. That was a good catch.
It was a great play. I mean, a great play. So, and you go to playerprofiler.com and you see A.J. Dillon is not only huge, but he's also extremely fast, explosive, and I mean, there's a real argument there, Dynasty. I think I might still take Clyde Edwards-Helaire, but it's a real conversation, right? And then I mean, hell, what about Cam Akers? Like, I might take Cam Akers over Clyde Edwards-Helaire Dynasty.
With that injury?
I mean, if there's one thing about Marlon Mack, it's that we're getting better with recovering from these injuries. And there was I forgot who the athlete was in the Olympics, but there was an athlete that was in I think like a martial arts, and they had torn their Achilles 3 months later. Were in the Olympics.
Yes, I saw that. Yeah.
So yeah, I'm like still cautiously optimistic about Akers long term, but like the usage that Kansas City has for their running backs has me scared to death of Clyde Edwards-Helaire. And he's still fumbling the ball too. Like, I know these touchdowns are putting up the total points, but they clearly don't trust him for whatever reason. So I know that we somehow got off topic about Mecole Hardman there, but yeah. So I mean, I still think like Hardman is the clear fourth or fifth option in that passing game. Like,
but to the matchup, who are you taking?
Yeah, I'm taking Badger. Close. Yeah, I'm taking Badger. I mean, I know that Hopkins, Jefferson, Waller could win a week, but
not this one.
You know, like, not this one. No. Yeah. No, I mean, I don't like either of these teams this week, to be honest with you.
I agree.
I think Pete's team is what we thought Haj's worst case scenario could be. Is that fair to say? Like, we thought it could be Haj, but in reality, it's probably Pete. Not very, very poor depth. And you have enough tough matchups to start the year, and maybe you're thinking about selling. If Pete loses this matchup, if he goes even 1-1, especially if he goes 0-2, I think you almost have to listen on offers for Waller and Hopkins because they're 28 and 29 respectively, right?
Yeah, but then you're giving up.
I mean, this team just isn't very good. Like, they got 3 really good players, and that's it. You know, like, the one position he has really good depth in is quarterback. Kirk Cousins and Sam Darnold are great depth options at quarterback. But anything happens to Moss or Henderson, and he's done.
Yeah.
Anything happens to Hopkins or Jefferson, or even Waller, I mean...
He does have Mike Davis to fill in for his running back. Which isn't a bad option. I mean, that's his strategy. That's his process. He goes with he goes with like a below average running back and above average wide receiver group. So he does have that
it's a philosophy.
But if the Hopkins and Jefferson gets hurt, he really doesn't have anyone else to fill in.
No, he doesn't
done. Have the depth in the wide receiver.
He doesn't have the depth that you have, that Derek has, that even I have. I mean, Rondale Moore's on my bench. And Rondale Moore, I would start over Mecole Hardman or Cole Beasley. So yeah, I do think Badger wins, but this does have the feeling of both teams potentially being below the points for median.
Yeah, which is why, I mean, if you're doing Badger, and I think Badger's going to do Badger, and I think Derek most likely would do Badger, I might have to just take a risk here and go Pete, try to get that win.
Yeah.
Because we're really close in our projections right now, besides Badger.
Yeah.
So,
away. So, yeah, so I guess, I mean, I'm going Badger, you're going Pete. So, so your top 6 points for median of the week. What do you got?
Quickly.
Yeah.
Parker. Andy.
I'm assuming you.
Parker, Andy, me, Derek, Haj, you.
Ooh. Okay.
If everyone plays. If no one plays on your team and they all get hurt, then I might actually go Dan.
Okay.
I don't think Ryan has a really good week.
That would be 2 bad weeks in a row for him.
Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, there's just something about Ryan's team that I like. I should like it more.
Me too.
But
I just don't like it.
there's just something about it, like Jonnu Smith and the running backs. That
It's like,
just,
Tyreek Hill and Mahomes will probably connect for like 2 touchdowns this week. Awesome. But like Brandon Cooks, I don't know how he's going to do. And Mike Evans might do well, but it's just weird. Like his running backs really take him down. He might actually do well this week, and I'm just kind of just trying to do a hot take.
Yeah, it is a little bit of a hot take. My points for guys, you and Derek, Andy, Parker. That's 4. I don't like a lot of these teams this week. Ryan, I'll go Ryan. I'll say I'll come in 6th. I'd be happy with that. And if I don't play, then I think Pete. No, well Badger, because I have Badger winning. So I guess I'd go Badger there. But I just don't really think Dan is repeatable. And there's a possibility that Haj just doesn't have. Like, there's a very low floor for Williams, Ertz, and Tony that scares me a lot.
Yeah.
So,
I agree.
Yeah.
I just looked through the thing because I had like a thought in my head. Because I feel like the last 3 weeks we've been saying that, for points for median, whoever I'm playing against, like we're both going to break it. I have yet to play an opponent that received the points for median.
Yeah.
Not saying that I've been playing shitty teams because I just played Ryan, I played Andy, but every time I play a team, they don't put up the points. So
right.
This week should change. But it really might not. It really might not.
It might not.
But the only issue is I have a lot of players that, like, I have Davante Adams on 2 other leagues, so kind of.
Yeah, it's the ultimate dilemma. Yeah, yeah.
But I only have Davante Adams on 2 other leagues. The other ones I don't have, so you can shit the bed on the other shit.
Yeah, Yeah, that was my dilemma last week. It's Aaron Rodgers throwing 3 touchdowns and 2 of them were to Davante Adams. It's just like, what can you do?
Cool. I mean, I wanted to make this quick. It's over an hour. It's kind of 8 o'clock. What is it? It's
7:57.
I have to eat dinner. I think we should call it here. I know we didn't really do anything last week. Maybe we could do like a surprise one on like Sunday morning. If people are around and no one's doing anything,
let's do it. I'm down for that one.
I mean, Sunday morning there is a game at 9:30, but like we literally can. Yeah, maybe we could just
not stream it, but
no. But we can just be talking while the game's on just to talk over like what's happening, and also go over just like I don't know the Thursday night game. Maybe. And like how games change. Because Thursday night really does depend maybe how Derek and I's matchup goes. Because obviously Jalen Hurts versus Sanders.
I mean, Dan and Andy's matchup, I think, has more implications from Thursday night.
Oh, do they?
Oh, I think by a wide margin.
Devontae Adams. You have Devonta Smith.
He's got Devonta Smith and you got Brown and Godwin.
Oh, my bad. Yeah. That's 2 and 2.
Huge.
That's 4 total players. Yeah, that's 4 total players.
Huge matchup.
Agreed.
So, I mean, there's a possibility that this is the closest matchup. I still think it's going to be Badger and Pete, but I can't believe we're saying Dan might be in a close game. That just doesn't sound.
It could very well happen. It could very well happen.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's it, I guess, right? Episode 16, week 6 is going to be starting tomorrow. Once again, put those players out of your flex if you're starting a player on Thursday. But if you really want to have that, your balls of steel, put them in your flex, because why not, right?
Right. I'm not that guy.
Don't be that guy. You're not that guy. You're not that guy, pal. Other than that, if the league's listening, I am your ruler. I am your leader. Not your leader. I'm your manager. I'm your boss.
Yeah, refer to the Twitter post from earlier today.
I am a dictator. I'm a dictator that fails at being a dictator because I just want to make everyone happy at the same time, and then I just call everyone crybabies and pussies.
It's like that Eric Andre snippet where he like shoots whatever his name is, and he's like, why didn't he like you or something like that? Like, I feel like that's what it is. Maybe that's the next one I Photoshop.
That would be funny. I'm just getting annoyed with how the league is thinking. I feel like the league thinks they have so much power now because of like, oh, put it to a vote, we got the power. It's like, oh my god.
How about
they think I have all the power, but yet I literally have no power based on every single conversation we've ever had.
Yeah, we can take some ideas offline here, but
no, I don't care. But yeah, I want them to hear me so they can shut the fuck up and stop crying like babies.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not in that group. So
that's all right.
All right.
Yeah.
It was a good podcast.
Hell yeah.